Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Time for the daily video update. We've got some pretty good little setups in the works, so we're going to talk about those in a moment. Quick little look, we've just seen the markets close here about 15 minutes ago or so, and the Dow didn't have a great day, didn't have a horrible day, just down a little bit. S&P had a little bit of a worse day. Oil and everything's just everything's just a little bit flat today / slightly negative. And so we'll have a look at how that kind of plays out on the currencies here. GDP for China coming up later on this afternoon, the next couple of hours. And then as far as news goes tonight / tomorrow morning, we have some bond auctions going on for Italy, and then we have the PPI for the U.S., as well as consumer sentiment out of University of Michigan, so we'll keep an eye on those. Dollar index, strong and strong. Remember, 82 is our big support right here, big resistance, big support, and it held above 82, and here we are almost to 84 on the dollar index. So dollar index is going crazy and really getting up to some new highs. Remember that 90 is about the big level here, and everything's starting to get into that slightly oversold / overbought area. Overbought a little bit on the dollar itself, and I think we're getting a little bit into oversold zones on euro and some of these other pairs, and we're going to talk about how that's going to line up. The euro dollar, though, we had a very excellent trade in the for the UK notes last night, and it was just this little trend line right here, this little breakout. Got in on this, and you can see that ran just about 60 pips. And we didn't get all 60 pips out of that, unfortunately, but it ran very nicely and gave some very good pips on that movement down. But just a very nice little breakout, very simple entry, and just continue down into our target. And the target we've been talking about for the last couple of days is 121.50, and you can see this hit this bottom daily pivot point at 121 about 65. So came just shy of that overall target, but it's going really nicely. And there's some good pips to be had in there. Now, as far as what the euro dollar is doing currently, it's channeling here a little bit, and it looks like it might be ready for a slight recovery. I have this level listed right here, which is 12200 / about 122.05, and I think if we start pushing above that, staying above that, holding above that, we may get a little bit of a run up into about 122. 40, 50-ish area, maybe not all the way to 50, but pretty darn close. I think we've got a good 30 pips in a run above this 12200, so I think we may be able to kind of retrace back up into that 122, 30, 40 area, and I think there's a decent little, very short-term buying opportunity, like I said, on this. And so looking at this trend line, so 1 hour trend line, and the market's really been kind of testing all of that, and now it's ready to break and make a run for it, I think. And so that's what I'm going to watch for and look for. But this 122.05, 12200 area looks pretty important and able to hopefully hold this pair up just a little bit. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Otherwise, if that doesn't play out, you can see on this on the 15-minute chart, we have a nice little trend line, and it's kind of been testing this. And so if this breaks this trend line, I'll continue to short this pair. So really, right about the 12200 is the crucial zone on this euro dollar. Above, nice pips. Below, should get some nice pips as well. So either way on this thing, we should have a run. But I think I'm leaning at least partially towards a buy and taking this up for at least a couple of pips. This will be a very careful one to trade, lock in profit ASAP, like after 10 pips, lock in some profit and just be very close and very careful on this. Pound dollar, this channel has been in play for several days, an 80+ pip channel. It finally broke out of it last night during the UK session, made a nice little run out. We've got a nice kind of 48-hour channel right here that the pound dollar has been bouncing around in, and it's looking pretty good there. So I don't know what I want to do with this pound dollar just yet. I'm going to watch this channel, and I think if it breaks out of this channel and starts to break back up above about 154.50, 60, then I may look for some buying opportunities. I think we're going to possibly end the week with a little bit of a positive note, in stocks and equities, and a little bit of a positive note, or negative note, I guess, on the dollar. I think we might be ready for a little bit of some of that upward movement. So I'm going to be watching for that, watching for the break of this channel and the break of 154.60, and seeing if we can get a little piece of that action. Otherwise, you can see that as part of this channel, if it doesn't break out of the channel and get above that key resistance there at 54, 50, 60, then we've just got a nice little trend line to work with right here. And so you can see that if this just bounces off the top of that channel, we'll have a nice little selling opportunity right here. And so some of these prices and some of these areas, the sell could be somewhere around 154.25, and the buy, once again, I'll give my attention will get peaked here a little bit at about 154.45. And even 50, but I'd really like to see us get above this little consolidation here at 154.60 before I start jumping on the buying bandwagon there. So keep an eye on that. Pause this, mark this same thing on your charts, and be ready to watch that. Euro yen, we had a great trade on the euro yen last night. This was the trend line as well, and the level 97.25, and it broke that, as you can see, and it ran 80 pips. And that is excellent. Very nice little run on that one. And now on this euro yen, I'm kind of getting a little bit cautious and a little bit careful. Not 100% sure what I want to do with this one either at this point, and I think that we're kind of getting into an area of be extra careful. We may be nearing some overextended market conditions. We're getting a big double bottom right here, right around 96. The 9600 area. Its low right there was about 96.40.50. We have this low back here. It's about 95.70. So it's getting into kind of a lot of double bottom kind of territory. So I'm just going to be really careful and trade this on the very short term type situation. Again, 5-minute chart. You can see that we have a very nice little channel, trend line to look for right there. So if this starts to break back below that, we should have 20 to 30 pips on the downside there. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. Last but not least, Aussie dollar gave us a good little break. This Aussie dollar is setting up actually very nicely, but it's going to need a little tiny bit more time, I think, before it gives us that ultimate confirmation. You can see that we had this channel, so we had a couple of things right here that we were looking at. And we had a nice little channel right here that it was kind of working up, and it's broken out of that channel, and now we have this guy, and I think we've got some good possibilities of this channel now holding into place. If it continues to break below this area, then we're going to start to get a little bit more towards some further bearishness, some further downside, and so far it has broken out of that channel pretty nicely. So I'm just looking for some short-term retracement at this point, and I think that from this low, or excuse me, this high to this low right here, which is about 175 pips, that's big enough for me to feel comfortable about a fib level. I think we may get some runs up into this about 101. 90, 10200 area right into this general consolidation, and from there I will probably be looking to short the pair and take it on back down from there. So that's probably what I'm going to keep my eye on in the coming moments here. So let's watch for that. Let's look for some opportunities there. Gold gave us a little bit of a rally and a little bit of a break, but it's still holding down in these lows. So we'll just watch out and see where those things go. Overall, though, we have some great setups. I think the euro dollar is going to give us a great opportunity, this 12200. I think the pound dollar could give us some good opportunity, and the euro yen looks like it's very nicely set up. I think the Aussie dollar and gold are a little further out of anything there, but these three pairs, euro dollar, euro yen, and pound dollar, should give us some great setups. So we'll watch for those, and I'll keep Twitter updated with the most recent details. Thanks a bunch, everyone. Best of luck, and we'll see you in the chat.